Okay, class, this is Mr. McCann. We're going over rational numbers. We went over it all last week, and this is one of the do-nows that Mr. Yin had worked on. I thought I'd clarify some of the information in the lesson. So this is what this YouTube is about. So what you went over with, and will show up on the test most likely, is common denominators, which is a big part of some of his quick solutions to some problems. When to cross multiply, when not to. Standard form, which you must put in the test. If it's a multiple choice test, also in the SATs and the keystones. So what Yin's going to do, Mr. Yin, he's going to teach it. I'm going to pop in every once in a while and clarify. So basically, recurrent is rational expressions. Denominators, numerators, and a few more other things, I'm sure. But there's some things you need to key on. Okay, I hope you like it. I know it's not Academy Award winning material, but
if you look at the first two problems, we know right away that these are going to be the easier problems because the denominators are the same. Sierra, go ahead and give me the answer to number 1.
48 ninths.
48 what?
Ninths.
48 ninths. Can we simplify that anymore?
I don't know.
No? Does anyone
I think
have a
we do.
different opinion? Gotcha. If you divide it, you would get decimal answer. But can we make it into a more simple fraction?
16 over 3.
There is a 3 factor that you can pull out. That makes it 16 over 3. 16 times 3 is 48. And we know 3 times 3 is 9. So your most simplified fraction would be 16 over 3.
okay, you're still a little confused with how to reduce or simplify the problem? Well, let's go over it. It's not very difficult once you understand it. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to erase it so we can do it from the beginning. And maybe you know it since it was right there anyway. Okay, simplifying this problem that was in your do now. Okay, first you need to come up with the answer. And that's real easy because you, as Mr. Yin mentioned and a few others, the denominator is the same. That's your denominator. So all you need to do is move it over. Then you add these two numbers. When you add them, it equals 48. Now what he's asking you to do is to simplify. And the answer to his question, do you simplify? And the answer is yes. Or can you simplify? Is yes. What you need to do is find a term, a common term in both these numbers. In the 48 and the 9. And there is one. The number is 3. There's not too many numbers that you can multiply together will give you 9. So finding the common term is easy if you go with the lowest number, which here is the number 9. So then you take that and see if you can divide a number that goes into 9 and also into 48. 9 wouldn't be the answer, but another number is 3. 3 will go into 48 and also into 9. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 48 divided by 3 is 16. So that's how you got your answer. Easy peasy. Okay, Mr. Yin's going to go over some common mistakes, so make sure you listen.
Number 2. Most common mistake. People write,
It's x cubed.
yeah, people write x to the third. That's the most common mistake. Because you only get x cubed if you are distributing. And what's the more general word for distribution?
Adding.
More general word for distribution. What do we do when we distribute? We multiply. So if you multiply, you get x cubed. If you are adding, you have to leave it as it is. You can
Mistake Mr. Yin is trying to point out is with these two terms, when we add rational numbers, these two terms right here, when we add rational numbers. When we add rational numbers, a common mistake is we multiply these two terms. Do not multiply these two terms. Don't do it. So what people will generally make mistake of taking x, times it by x, and getting x to the third. That's a wrong answer. What you want to do is just leave it. So your answer would be, when you add these numbers together, x plus x to the second, and then you can add these numbers together. You have 7 and a negative 4. Positive 7, negative 4, so it's 7 minus 4. It gives you plus 3. I would rewrite it so the largest term is up front. Kind of creates a polynomial which you may use later, I don't know. Ooh, got that on there. Okay.
only combine like terms. So your answer would be, go ahead, Christian. Can't be x cubed.
X squared.
X squared plus no distribution.
So this gonna be 3. Okay.
And what's in the middle right there? Go ahead, Sarah. What's in the middle?
What's x squared plus x? Just leave it. X squared plus x. Plus 3.
And then the denominator, does it change?
No.
No.
Alright, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
We get this. We get the x. We get that x from.
The middle x,
Mm-hmm.
because the x right next to this problem, the x plus 7, that's where the x comes from.
Okay.
Okay, quick summary of how to finish this problem, just in case you didn't get it. Remember, these remain the same. Only these are we able to subtract or add, because we're doing addition here. These are not the same terms, so that's why we can't add them together. So, x to the second, there, plus x, right there, and then 7 minus 4 gives you a 3. These remain the same, or this number, we only use one. It's the denominator, so We don't do anything with it. So that's your answer.
This is one where we have to, what's that?
Cross multiply.
There we go, Jasmine, what was your answer?
I got x.
Yeah, I got easy.
Actually, let's break it apart. Can you tell us what the denominator is? Okay, let's pass on to Christian. X parentheses 9, which is the same thing as 9 times x. X parentheses 9, I noticed that you multiplied it, but once you do multiply it, it would just be 9x. And we are cross multiplying, so Ethan, can you provide us the top?
X.
So A squared and then 87F.
So
Oh, you talking about
Cross multiplication.
I was doing So we
All yours on Ethan right now. He's gonna go ahead and
X first then?
you're gonna go ahead and distribute the 9 to the x.
Alright, so- Alright, so it'd be 9x plus it's probably not so
I think you can get it. You're close.
equal.
Yeah. One less. So 9 times 8 would be 72. 9 times 7. Anthony? 63. And then finally, the second part. After I did my first cross multiplication, I have this. My second cross multiplication, I'm going to fill it out over here. Dre, what'd you get for the second part? X plus 7 multiplied by x. What would you do if you multiplied and distributed?
It's not.
Not quite. Go ahead, Jasmine. Let's go through. So what she did was she took this, multiplied it there, took this, and multiplied it. Any like terms that we can combine down here? Down here, are there any terms on the numerator that look similar to each other? I know this one's kind of hard to see, but that's a 7x right there. See anything? Okay. Lawrence, do you see anything that you can combine? Nice. What would that be?
16x.
So your final answer?
16x plus 63 plus x.
X squared. Final answer, you'll
Alright, this problem is a little confusing, so I'm going to go over it. First, cross multiply. Why cross multiply? The reason is the denominator is no longer the same. It's different. So we have to do something different. So we cross multiply. 9. First step, to get the denominator, it's the common denominator. 9 and x, so we just put them together, which gives us 9x. It gives us a common denominator of 9x for the entire equation. Second, so you're just combining the terms, sorry. 9x. Second, you cross multiply. Cross multiply is just taking the 9 from the denominator and multiplying it on the other side to this numerator. So it's 9, that's the 9, times x plus 7, times x plus 7. And then, same way with the x. X times x plus 7. X times x plus 7. Now what a lot of you are getting confused with is distribution. So the next thing you need to do is know how to distribute. Distribute means to go into both numbers in the brackets. 9 times x and then 9 times 7. 9 times x is 9x. Right down here, 9x. 9 times 7 is 63. Here's your 63. So 9 times x, 9x. 9 times 7, 63. Do the same thing with this one. See, I have an addition sign right there. That's this addition sign. Same addition sign. Make sure you carry over the addition sign. Distribute the x to the numbers in the brackets. X times x is x squared. Because these are both 1 to the power of 1. When you multiply a value with a power, you add the power. So that's x to the second. Then you distribute the x to the 7, which is 7x. Keep the same denominator. Move everything down. Now, Mr. Yin talks about common terms. Common terms are the ones with a number, with a value, and are the same power. These are the same power of 1. X to the first power, x to the first power. You combine them. You add them together. You're not multiplying, you're adding them together. So it's 9x plus 7x. 9x plus 7x is 16x. Mr. Yin also talks about, or will talk about, standard form. Standard form. Remember standard form? I'll just put ST form. Remember that? It's taking the largest value and putting it first, then the second, then the third, and on. This is the largest because it has the power of 2. This is the next largest because it has a number and a value. This is the smallest one because it just has a number. That means this can be anything, so it can be really big. That's why they do it this way. And this one too. So that's your completed answer. Alright? Mr. Yin will remind you to write this in standard form. And that's it.
Multiple choice tests in standard form. So Lawrence said 16x plus 63 plus x squared, but on the multiple choice test, on something like the ACT or the SAT, you will see x squared first, then you will see 16x, and then you will see the constant 63. So they will just rewrite it in a different way, based on descending order of power.
Why math so difficult? They do some difficult things.
Anything that's worth doing, that's challenging.